Give a warm round of applause for Melanie Dees Campbell.
Thank you. I have 3 pieces I'll be reading today. The first one is called The Donut. The Duchess, your cat, is fat. A statement from the vet, erroneous about my pet. How crude to speak so rude, describing the Duchess as a cat. Well, it's a well-known fact amongst my friends that Duchess is a fur person. Adding insult to injury, diagnosing the Duchess as fat, I shudder, merely shudder, and adjust my hat. Calming myself, composing myself, announcing clear so all could hear, we are not amused. You distress her and me, we are leaving for tea. Consoling ourselves over tea and a donut, I assure the Duchess that we are not fat, we are merely fluffy. And the second little piece is regarding how nowadays with all these music things that are on TV and videos, so many people are critical of singers before they even start. A voice, audience snickering, the plain woman speaks undeterred. They stare unbelieving at her outdoubted, dated appearance. Mocking chuckles erupt. Then sings Susan Boyle. The audience repents with thunderous applause. We should never judge a book by its cover. Also, I have a little musing thing on that first piece. You know, if you eat a donut whole, it shouldn't have any calories since a whole is empty. So that might be something to consider. This last piece is called Only One. Stranger, the crowding, the crying, it was loud. I remember covering my ears, I wanted to cover my eyes. Paying no attention where I stepped. Numb, I stumbled. My sandaled feet were filthy, as well as my robes dusty. It seemed as I'd been walking through this horror forever. I pulled my veil tighter around my head as I tripped over 2 small, lifeless bodies. The twin boys lay bloodied, almost in an embrace. Staring, I was mesmerized by the soft black curls and the wide-opened brown eyes. I knew them. Strange as it sounds, at that moment, I wondered if a spear had killed both at the same time, or if they had been lifted in the air and a sword pierced them. Was their death instant, or had they in their suffering reached out to each other? Suddenly, their mother came screaming, rushing towards us. She fell to the ground, screeching the worst human cry I ever heard. Wailing their names, she grabbed her boys, her hands now bloodied, she moaned. No words of comfort could I speak to ease the pain of her loss. Struggling to rise, I finally stood, trembling. A soldier hurried past me, his sword still dripping, flicking blood upon my robe. Glancing down, I knew the mother had not seen him as she rocked back and forth, cradling her dead babes. Looking back towards the soldier, I watched him enter a house and heard new screams, joining the rest of the village. A fanatic, wild-eyed man came running towards me with his crying baby outstretched in his arms. Yes, I knew him too. His wife had died 3 months earlier, giving birth. The soldier riding hard behind him threw a spear. Unable to move, I watched it sail through the air. The father fell as the baby wailed and screamed, hitting the ground. The soldier dismounted, retrieved his spear from the back of the man, who cried out in agony. Then he kicked the man over like dirt, and holding the spear high, quickly plunged it into the screaming babe. He then shook the infant off his spear, letting it fall upon its father. Smugly, the soldier remounted. It was the briefest of moments when he glanced at me, then dismissed me, as if I was merely a broken piece of clay. The mother rocking back and forth, wailing at my feet, still cradled her babes when one of her bloody hands stretched out towards me in desperation, gripping my robe. I placed my hand gently on the top of her head as I knelt down beside her. My arms encircled them while the mother's tears washed over their dead bodies. All I could do was hold them tightly. Why, my heart cried, why? And then I heard my husband's reading of Jeremiah echoing in my mind. The Lord says, a voice in Ramah, mourning and great weeping, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because her children are no more. Was that what it meant? Selfishly, I thought it good that my husband had not lived to see this slaughter of the innocents. Oh, stranger, yes, it is true. Years ago, all my baby boys died that day. That is why this old woman quit being the midwife in Bethlehem. Not one lived. What? What? You tell me one did live? He is who? He is what? Please, wait. Wait for me. I want to go to Jerusalem. I want to meet him.